My talk today is about radiance and how together we shine brighter. Danielle LaPorte says radiance is our suffering alchemized. So when we alchemize our suffering, the result is more radiance. How about that? So I got curious. I started wondering, how do we do this? And I started looking at my process for how I alchemize suffering. And I realized that I do have a practice for this, and I wanted to share it. I have to slow down and become aware of what causes me pain in the first place. Can I notice my own discomfort? Can I become aware of its presence? Do I know why it exists in the first place? What is it here to tell me? So if I can notice why it's present, then I can pause and I can be with that reason. And when I pause and sit with that reason, I give it space to just be. And I can offer that reason some compassion and some grace. I can treat that reason like a wounded child. Give it some nurture. But if I don't know why I'm feeling the way that I am, then I ask myself these 5 questions. How familiar is this sensation? When did I first notice it? Is it old? Is it new? And if I gave this discomfort a voice, what would it say? What does it want me to know? So at a recent example, a friend of mine was going to come visit, and instead her spouse had booked an event. And I felt deprioritized. Like the facts were that she wasn't going to come, that her husband booked an event for them. And the result was I felt deprioritized. So why? Why did I feel deprioritized when those things happen? And what I found is that I could easily let myself spiral into a wormhole and make up a story that our friendship doesn't matter. But deep down I know that's not true. But that's where I could have gone when those set of facts unfolded, if I had let myself. It would be a familiar story from my childhood. It would remind me of the time that I longed to have more friends. Or when neighborhood kids got together to play, and maybe I was left out. Maybe it reminded me of that. I would take offense. I would make it personal. That's what I did. And so, having a similar experience, I could liken it to that. I could tie it back to that and come from that wounded place. But when I ask myself the questions, what would this voice of discomfort say? And what does it want me to know? When I slow down to get curious about this experience I'm having, the sensation that is causing the story or the narrative to exist in the first place, what I realized is that the voice of discomfort showed me who I am. It demonstrated that I have a value for deep connections with other people. It showed me what matters to me. So I got to learn that reciprocal friendships are really important. I got to get in touch with this thing that values that I have a value for, which is deep connection to other people. So now, this act of discomfort, this slowing down to acknowledge this pain point, actually resulted, when I listened to the voice of it, in showing me what I value, what matters to me. So now, who do I get to be with this information? I get to be a person who initiates deeper connection with the humans that I love. And what a gift that is. What a gift it is to come into this realization of more of who I am. And act in service of me getting more of what I want. I also get to use this as a benchmark for setting boundaries in friendships. Is this friendship resulting in a deeper, more meaningful connection? And if not, what can I do about it? So I was talking about this idea about learning what you value and how you can use discomfort as a guide that can bring you back to learning about your inner compass. And when you do that, you can now make choices in service of yourself, of having more of what you want. And I'm here to tell you that it's what the Divine Goddess wants for each and every one of us. Each and every one of us, the Divine Goddess wants for us to have more of what we want. More ease, more joy, more bliss, and more peace. Because what happens then? Anybody have a guess? When we have more ease, and more joy, and more bliss, and more peace, we have more unconditional love. More unconditional love for ourselves, and then by design, more unconditional love for others. So we talk about radiance. This life is not for suffering. We don't get extra credits when we pass over to the other side by voluntarily suffering. That's not to say suffering doesn't happen. Physical, emotional pain is part of our shared existence. But what I'm talking about is the narratives that happen in our mind. By choosing narratives that have us feel less good, we are signing up to voluntarily suffer. And that does not help us radiate. All humans long to be seen, to be heard, to be understood. As a species, belonging is wired into our DNA. And sometimes our life can seem like a struggle if we're working hard or trying in any way to fit in and belong versus authentic self-expression. We all want to be seen as the unique individuals that we are. It's actually our birthright. So coming back to radiance, coming back to how we shine brighter together, which is the theme of my talk today. When we acknowledge our wounds, like I did in that story about my friend not coming and me feeling hurt about it, and then what it showed me about myself, we bring the wounds out into the light, out of the shadow, so that it can be seen, so that we can love it, we can soften it, we can dissolve it with our grace and our compassion. And so this is the process of alchemizing our pain. Becoming more radiant in the world is a process of integrating all of our parts, all of the pieces that make us who we are. And then we can radiate more love out into the world. This is a ripple effect. And y'all know I love a good ripple, especially a radiating ripple of love. That's what I'm here to do. That's what live life lovingly is all about to me. And that's why this is one of my favorite topics. A ripple of radiance. It's that inner glow. And when it's so bright, it fills you up. And it can't not shine out into the world. The way Bob's music does. The way it lifts us up. The way it lights us up from the inside. We glow. We glow because you glow when you play. Because you are living in your fullest expression of joy when you play your music. And that is what is received by everyone around you. That's the ripple. That's the ripple of radiance right there. So going deeper into the what, how, and why of radiance, I seeked wisdom from one of my mentors, Danielle LaPorte. And she offered me this. Radiance is the result of all of the experiences that burn away our false self. So think of it this way. Truth is the fire. Truth is the fire. And our masks are the wood. Our masks are the wood that fuel the flame. The masks are the various armors and pretending that we might put on. And when we put those masks into the fire to burn, the fire is the truth. We reveal more of who we are when we take the mask down. This is the myth of the phoenix. The phoenix who rose from the ashes, reborn, coming through the flames of experience to be purified. Danielle goes on to say, we purify and cleanse our wrong thinking and we are reborn. We are reborn more aware of our true self, our divine nature. We are radiant. So radiance is our suffering alchemized, as I said at the beginning. It's the truth revealed. Just like again in my example, I got my truth revealed. Through my pain, I saw my truth. My truth. I value deep connections with other humans. That's what I want. That's what I'm always doing. It's what I'm always seeking. In every action that I take in my life. Why? Because connection. Connection has me feel whole, seen, heard, and understood. I don't want to stay at the surface and talk about the weather and other people. I want to talk about us and how we are and what's happening right here, right now. That's my value for connection. So going back to where Danielle was offering her wisdom on radiance, she said if we lean into the cleansing and the healing process, which means if we're more willing to make an effort to get into an alignment with our higher soul, with our light, then we mitigate some of that suffering. And of course, as you can imagine, this takes courage. This takes courage, and it takes commitment, which we all have the capacity for. All of us. So embodying the virtues especially of radiance, is actually a way of burning off dense energies. So it's a double win. And here's the awesome news flash. You don't need to focus on fixing yourself. There's nothing to fix. We just focus on living from our heart center. And when we live from our heart center, from love, everything that's not in alignment falls away. That's it. Because the light is the love. And then when you shine that bright light, it reveals everything in the darkness that might otherwise want to hide. It's our radiance that fills those spaces. It's a transmutational process. That's alchemy at a very elemental level. So Danielle described the process of becoming more radiant in 2 steps. And in her words, she defines it, number 1, as the dissolving of the ego. So to her, this means that the shadow comes up into the light and makes way for higher light and love to pour into us. And step 2, we begin to reflect that light. We just reflect it. As it lives in us, it shines through us. And we are the reflection of the higher light. We emanate that outward. So behind the identity and the roles that we play, and the restrictive ideas, regulations, rules, personas, behind all of that is an awareness of truth. Truth with a capital T. It's the truth that we are all sparks of the divine, and as sparks of the divine, we are reflecting that light of our origins, our glorious origins. So we're here to step out of the drama of the small self and into the open space of our true nature, to be reflectors of the divine in all that we do. Radiate. And when we dare to do this in community, when we dare to do this in community, surrounded by others who are vibrating at the same level, we have an opportunity to impact the planet. That's just the hard, cold facts of it. That's how I see it. I'd like you to join me in a meditation. In this meditation, we're going to energize the virtues of radiance. We're going to energize the virtue of radiance, and we're going to offer it into the world around us. And Bob's going to offer us some accompaniment on the piano. Thank you, Bob. I invite you to close your eyes and breathe fully and gently into your heart. Your breathing is natural, so you're inhaling and exhaling through your nose. I'd like you to bring a hand up and tap gently on your heart 3 times. Now you're going to see the virtue of radiance as a golden seed living inside your heart center. See that golden seed of radiance. Deep breath in. And on the exhale, speak radiance into that seed. Take your time. Let your slow and deep breathing set the pace. Every breath is energizing that seed. You're breathing energy into that word, radiance. Radiance. You're acknowledging the truth, beauty, and power of this virtue. Infuse the seed with your heart light, focusing on the virtue seed of radiance. You become aware that your heart chakra is filling and flowing with golden hued divine light. Now you see the light, this golden light, energizing the radiance virtue, and the seed is blossoming into a full lotus flower. this lotus to be blessed. Now, with strong intention, ask your higher power, the God of your understanding, to bless this virtue blossom. Dear creation, dear loving presence, dear God, please nourish, love, and protect this lotus of light. We are going to offer this lotus outward. We're going to extend this blossom of radiance to another human being. But before you do, choose whatever range feels natural for how far you'll send it outward. You could direct it to an individual person, or if you feel particularly expansive in this moment, you could extend it out to radiate to the entire universe. Deep inhale. And on the exhale, send the lotus blossom outward. Imagine this lotus blossom of light reaching its destination. This lotus blossom filled with the light and love of your heart, reaching another human being. Give thanks. And take a few deep breaths to reground yourself right here, right now. When you're ready, you can open your eyes. Come back into the space. Knowing that with this work, that with this meditation, you in fact were radiating love, kindness, and divine light out into the world.